Yo, what's good? You're listening to Everyday Superpower, the place where you learn about body language, you learn about relationships, human dynamics, game, everything in between. Okay, two links are in the description of this video. One of them will take you to a YouTube playlist of mine, which covers the A to B to Z of all body language. Okay, you'll be able to read people through their subconscious behaviors. Second to that, we've got a link to the Patreon where you'll watch me experience watching first dates on their very first time. We're going to talk about seduction cues, attraction cues, repulsion cues. I'll give you the game which you won't get elsewhere. You'll be able to
Action.
internalize it and understand when somebody is attracted to you or repulsed by you. Now, let's get on with the topic of today. Confidence is silence. Insecurity is like a train, okay? It's like a speeding train. It's like a thunderstorm. Confidence is quiet and insecurity is loud, okay? That's what I'm going to say today. And that doesn't necessarily even mean through the verbal, it could be through the aesthetic. So, confidence speaks for itself. When one is confident, there is no need to exclaim that one is confident through any means. And that's not purely on the topic of confidence, that's quite simply in regards to one's ambitions, on one's conquests, on one's achievements. If a
Action.
person is confident in who they quite simply are because they are content and have nothing to prove, you see. Whereas the most insecure of people you will see, they're always the loudest, they say loudest in the room, right? The boldest men are the most insecure, the most macho men are the most insecure. With my lesson for you today is just to take this into consideration. That which is so overt, that which is a complete character trait of an individual because it's so bold, question yourself, is this person actually the opposite? So pay attention to that. Is this person actually the opposite? That person is so scary and masculine and macho and rough and violent. Are they actually trying to fight off the fact that they are a harmed little boy, they are a hurt little boy?
Action.
Okay? And let's look at the women, so beautiful, right? Covered in makeup, go to the gym every day. Wow, that's the woman for me, that's the woman I want. Take a look deeper and find the insecurity that is involved by being so conscientious of one's appearance. We've spoke on competition anxiety and so on and so forth, right? That stems into insecurity. Competitive value, it can root into this. It might as well be the be all and end all. It down to replication factor. The man needs to replicate by proving to women that he's something he's not. And the woman needs to prove to the man that she is worth it by highlighting and amplifying areas of her she's quite possibly insecure about herself. Fake breasts,
Action.
they're loud, they're bold, stems from insecurity, self-hate. Why would you need to do that? If it wasn't for a medical purpose, you've gone out of your way to change yourself physically outside of what you can do naturally. That's bizarre, right? Uncanny valley. Hey, and by the way, I'm not saying that I'm a hater on that. I'm just saying it is what it is, right? When it comes to the men, steroids. Why do men get on steroids? Why do men get obsessed with bodybuilding? It comes down to body dysphoria. And you know what? It's not even dysphoria. I do apologize. It's dysmorphia. And when I was younger, I suffered from this because I like training. Very easy to pay too much attention to yourself. And although others might be saying, you look good, you look great, this and that, you never stop to appreciate where you are. You're
Action.
always wanting to get bigger, even though you're big enough. You'll continue getting bigger. There's nothing wrong with wanting to move on forwards, right? But you have to think to yourself, wait a minute, I need to change my perspective on things here because I'm never going to be happy. It's insecurity. There's a sadness that comes with brilliance. You know? Insecurity is loud and confidence is quiet. When you speak to a woman, you don't need to sell yourself to her because you know what you're worth. And when she's used to all of these men selling themselves to her, she will see your value through your lack of needing to explain. It comes natural to you, you know? The confident man walks into the room with his head
Rolling.
high,
Action.
his chest out, exposing his ventral side to his world, his internal organs. He's not concealing himself, he is not threatened. It links into the nonverbal communication we speak so frequently of in this channel. Insecurity is loud. The majority of people don't know the first thing about nonverbal communication, but I'll tell you what they do know. They do know that crossed arms across the chest is not a good sign. They know that much because it's loud. It's loud, it's screaming out for attention. It's a showcase of insecurity. To some degree or another, it's a defensive state. Right? It's closed body language. Whereas the expansive, territorial behaviour of somebody who is confident in a natural manner is self-explanatory.
Action.
Pay attention. Listen to the words people say. Why are you having to sell yourself to me about this particular, you know, topic of such? Why do you have to tell me how much you've been practicing football? I don't really care. It should come out in the act. When you are performing, it should be self-explanatory because you'll be better than everybody else. When it comes to professional fighters, and when it comes to the military, it's nonsensical for them to go around beating their chests, telling people what they are capable of, because it is portrayed in their demeanour, in their self-assured confidence, 2 feet
Action.
stood firmly on the ground. You know where I'm coming from? The strong man who, to the majority, is seen as strong and masculine, to you will start to look a little bit pathetic. Because that's where I've been for years on in my life. You start to see the counter opposite. Like I always say, there is balance in life. In everything, there is yin and yang. There is balance in life. There is a counterbalance to everything. So if you're weighing the scales so heavily in one particular area, there's an unbalance there. Let's have a look at the extremity of the other side you're clearly trying to overcompensate for. Look at the loudness. Ding, 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 ding. When you get drunk, why do you fight? Why do you fight when you get drunk? Why are you a fighter when you're drunk? There's a harmed child inside of you. There is a hurt person, and you need to find a release because you are expressing that negativity outwards in an emotional fashion. I don't see it as strength. I know what it really is. You can see these behaviours amplified tenfold when somebody gets drunk. You know? And when we're on the topic of counterbalance, I've got a question for you. Somebody who is overtly emotional while drunk when a grown man breaks down crying. Is that significant of a strong man? And I say that out of interest because it came to mind as far as the counterbalance is concerned. Because the man who has been holding so much weight on his shoulders for so long finally relieves himself of that stress by breaking down in sadness, in the emotional tsunami he experiences when his barriers come down, metaphorically, after a few drinks. Arguably, even though it's contrary to popular belief. Is that significant of a strong male? In reality, purely as in their day to day, in their sober existence, they have kept that wall up, they have kept that guard up, they have kept strong up until this point. I assume it's the reality, it's the real face, it's not the mask at that point. Pay attention because people won't tend to take their masks off. But when their mask is on, look at who they try to portray. And like those who wear masks, extremity is humorous. When they've got makeup on, like the clown, have a look at who they really are, what they look like, and what they're trying to conceal. Because underneath the clown's smile, there's sadness. The comedian is depressed. The comedian expresses joy as a means of defending themselves from being exposed as who they truly are. It's a reoccurring theme. Comedians are alcoholics. Comedians are cocaine addicts. They come from backgrounds as to which is completely contrary to the person they put out there in the world. The bodybuilder is insecure. The fighter is the boy who had been picked on his own life and still has that energy, the spirit of the child residing within them. The red pill aficionado never got the girls. Food for thought. Click like and subscribe. I'm signing out.